So, as I said, there's a really good piece on The Athletic that lists some of their recommendations that Liverpool could look at in the transfer market. So the first one we spoke about the other night, but I'm going to go back through again. Mohamed Amora. I think somebody from his home country was in the chat the other day and saying that he was utilised as a winger at national level. Anyway, so one of the latest rumours centres around Union Saint-Gillois forward Mohamed Amora. Reports in recent weeks have claimed that Liverpool are interested in signing Amora, and now an update has emerged. According to German outlet Kicker, Bundesliga club Wolfsburg have also joined the race to sign the 24-year-old who scored against the Reds for Union Saint-Gillois in this season's Europa League. But it's been claimed that despite Wolfsburg expressing an interest, they will face competition from Liverpool. The report states that the Reds will provide wealthy competition to Wolfsburg for the Algerian international. I know nothing about the kid. You know, the other day when we mentioned him on the show was the first time I ever really thought about him. When they said he scored against us, I went back and watched it. But other than that, I can't say I know too much about him. The next one on the list is a bit of a blast from the past, actually, and somebody we haven't spoken about too much. Dani Olmo is another one that was suggested on this list. It said, meanwhile, according to Spanish news outlet Sport, Liverpool are one of several clubs showing an interest in signing Dani Olmo this summer. It has been stated that Olmo could leave RB Leipzig at the end of the season, with a Premier League club a possible destination. The report claims that Liverpool are joined by Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, Spurs and Manchester City in expressing an interest in signing the 26-year-old Spanish international. So what are we saying on Dani Olmo? Should we do a little poll on Olmo? Because he's one that we've been linked to, gone back quite a bit. And again, another Leipzig player. When we're linked to players from Red Bull clubs, my ears prick up a little bit because, you know, we've got history there. So, right, would you take Dani Olmo at Liverpool, yay or nay? Let me know in the chat. And there's a few more names I'm going to go through in a second. Craig, he's 26, almost ready for a bus pass. Really? So, bringing in somebody in their prime, at the early part of their prime, to replace potentially a player like Mo, I wouldn't say that's stupidity. I would say that's a here and now type signing. Now again, I'm not saying he's the right one, I don't know. But 26 is reasonable, I think. We need more Brazilians. Can never have too many Brazilians. Never. We all love a Brazilian, let's be honest. We love a bit of samba flair. I'm going to leave that Dani Olmo one running in the background while I speak about Nico Williams. Because Nico Williams is a name that we've spoken about quite a bit. Barcelona, also, by the way, linked with him. Apparently, since they know they can't afford Lucho, Nico Williams they see as somebody who's maybe more attainable. So we'll get on to that in a second. Stevie Boy said, Liverpool are linked to all these players. My opinion will end up with 3 players mid-range. Your thoughts? I think it might depend on what sales we make, to some extent. Do I expect us to go out there and bring in 3 60 to 80 million quid signings? No. I think there will be one in and around mid to high 50s. And then the usual 30 to 40 million is probably my guess. And look, that's not necessarily always a bad thing. It depends how they mature and how they work out. So anyway, on Nico Williams. On Nico Williams, it says... the piece starts off by saying Iñaki Williams had been sporadically linked with Liverpool and other top Premier League clubs for 7 years, but it's his 19-year-old brother, the Athletic Bilbao teammate, who would be a perfect fit. Nico, a left winger, has pace to burn and loves to dribble. Who's this? Akamatch and Vinicius Jr. averaged more attempted take-ons than his 8 per 90 minutes in La Liga this season. He's another player who can carry the ball into advanced areas, but is happy to be given it in the final third too. His progressive passes received per 90 are 11.4. It is in the top 10% of La Liga attacking midfielders and wingers. Williams can operate on both flanks, but has done the majority of his damage as a right-footed left winger. And then there's a chart below that shows basically a heat map of where Nico Williams' action areas have been. And it is very much in the final 1/3 left-hand corner of the pitch. His 16 assists alongside 7 goals in 34 games in all competitions this season highlights his creativity. He likes to run into the half spaces, cut balls back across goal, and that's a key feature of Arne Slot's attacking style of football. He's settled at Athletic and recently helped the team win the Copa del Rey for the first major trophy in 40 years. There have been previous interest from Villa and Chelsea when he signed a new 3-year contract in December. He has a €50 million release clause, a price which may appeal to Liverpool. So, I like Nico Williams. I really, really like Nico Williams. But when somebody said that he was on 250 grand a week at Bilbao, that kind of shocked me. But then they explained that, of course, Bilbao don't really pay too much in transfer fees, so a lot of their revenue does go on wages, and 250, it's a lot. It's a lot. But as a player, the price point at €50 million for release clause, I think it's definitely in the realms of the right type of player. And I very much like Nico Williams. Now, I know, as the article said, he predominantly plays on that left side, but again, he can play on either. And I think of a lot of the names mentioned, and we're not done yet, there's a couple more to go through. So far, he's the one for me. Now, the reason I haven't brought up Jarrod Bowen in this conversation is one problem that was highlighted in this piece, which was the problem for Jarrod Bowen would be the price, given he signed a 7-year contract last year that has no release clause. 7-year deal he signed on with. So it will take an incredible amount of money to get him out of West Ham, and I don't see us paying it. No way I'd pay that for Bowen. No way I can see Liverpool paying that for Bowen. Super chat from Benjamin said, "Morning, Craig. Long time no speak. I heard a rumour today Rodrigo is our man to replace Núñez from Madrid. I can't see Núñez going though. Thoughts?" We have a long held interest in Rodrigo from Real Madrid. He did an interview himself where he said there was a deal agreed for him to come to Liverpool for I think it was about £3.5 million. And then he stayed at Santos and then moved to Madrid. So in a heartbeat, Benjamin, in a heartbeat, I'd take Rodrigo at Liverpool. And if Real Madrid do need to sell, I'd like to think we're at the table, but I'd have my doubts. But I really like him as a player. Right, anyway, as I said, some more names to go through. And we'll move on to speak about Elise and stuff like that as well. The next name on the list was Bakayoko. So Bakayoko is somebody who's been linked with Liverpool a lot over the last year. And again, the Athletic write, Bakayoko played a key role in denying Arne Slot a second successive Eredivisie success. Obviously, PSV went and won the league. The 21-year-old, another left-footed right winger, has been one of the best players in Dutch football this season, and his 12 goals and 9 assists in 31 appearances only tell a little part of the story about how effective he's been. The piece goes on to say, only Feyenoord's Quinten Timber and PSV teammate Veerman have logged more shot creation actions, meaning shot creation actions are defined as the 2 offensive actions directly leading to a shot. So they reckon Bakayoko is pretty damn good. I don't know anything about the kid because I don't watch PSV Eindhoven. But I know a lot of people, Dutch people in particular, don't think he's ready for the step that I've seen or have interacted with. So I'd like to know what you guys think of Bakayoko. Olmo, this one's really interesting. The Olmo vote is really close, so do keep voting away on that one. Here's a name that I haven't seen much talk about. Francisco Conceição. And the piece said, what better way of finding a new winger than to return to Porto to pick up their next exciting white man. Conceição is 3 years younger than Diaz was when he arrived from the Portuguese club in 2022 and is another player Slot should be well aware of. The now 21-year-old spent 22-23 on loan in the Netherlands at Ajax and featured twice for them against Feyenoord. That and that fact implies he's only truly established himself as a first-teamer in Portugal this season. The diminutive winger is left-footed but has predominantly operated on the right-hand side for Porto and is a relentless dribbler. His figure of 6.4 take-ons per 90 minutes is among the top 5% for attacking midfielders and wingers in the Portuguese Primeira Liga this season, and his 3.1 successful take-ons per 90 is in the top 6%. I don't know much about him. I really don't know much about Conceição. Thoughts? Conceição is a baller, says David. What about Joe Bellingham? Has he been doing well at Sunderland since he moved there? I haven't really paid attention. Yeah, his name's not really done the rounds much that I've seen. Rather, not just with us, but elsewhere. Give me Conceição. He's another baller. Right, I need more Conceição thoughts. He's mid, said not Tyra. Liverpool need to be prudent in the transfer window and buy for the right price and not get robbed. I have no idea how much Conceição would cost either, by the way. It was just a name again mentioned in that Athletic piece, along with Dani Olmo, Mohamed Amora, Jared Bowen, Johan Bakayoko and Nico Williams. They were the ones mentioned in that piece. Summerville has really impressed a lot of people, said Owen. Loads of chatter about Summerville. The guy is what's his name? Marcel van der Kraan, is that his name? Dutch football journalist. He said he thought Slot was coming to Liverpool and it happened, and he also said he believes that Summerville is likely. So it could happen. Like, the name on Summerville's been doing the rounds a lot. Some people think he's not good enough, and others think he's brilliant. I don't watch all that much of Leeds, so I've no idea. And but I would, if I was to guess, I would say he's definitely on the list of 5 that I would say is serious interest in. Summerville is very good, said unconformed CF. Leeds will take 35 million to Colin Blackshaw. See, we could do a little bit of a dealo here, because Nat Phillips to Leeds, there could be legs in that story as well. So maybe we could, part exchange maybe, or get some money in for Nat Phillips, and then obviously there'd have to be a lot more money on top of that for Summerville. But Summerville and Kubo, I think you meant to write Kubo, Freedom. Edward signings discreet, nobody will know, possibly. Yes, and I love that. I love that we all guess, and sometimes it's just bing bang bosh. Here's a signing and none of us have spoke about it. I love that. I'm going to say something I've said many times, though. It still feels to me like Mickey van de Ven is the one that got away. The more I watch him, and I know he's had an injury blighted first season with Spurs, but the more I watch him, the more I think he's one that we should have gone after and made that move when we were linked with him. I really do like him.